Hey, welcome back. This is Shah. I found an interesting subreddit. This one's called Single Mothers by Choice for women who have made the deliberate decision to be a single mother. So I've been poking around this subreddit, and it's basically women who have made the decision to get a donor and impregnate themselves and embark on the journey of becoming a single mother with no legal father in the picture. Let's go ahead and look at a few posts and see what's going on. Who's the father? Well, it happened. I'm 22 weeks and experienced my first random person asking, "Who's the father?" My curmudgeonly neighbor asked me. Really not his business at all. I was caught off guard and instinctually replied, "Science and money." I'm actually kind of pleased with it and think I may stick with that as my standard answer. What ways have you all answered this question when you want to have a bit of a mic drop, no further questions, please moment? If it's someone I won't interact again, I say I don't really know him, lol. Usually I say it's a do-it-yourself project, and that is usually good enough. I like to say I actually don't know his name and watch them squirm for a moment before explaining it's a donor. I'm Swedish, and it's pretty common for Swedish women to go to Denmark for treatment, so people literally ask me, "Did you go to Denmark?" And we all know what that means. This is really interesting to me because, especially working at a child support office for 5 years, a lot of the culture around single mothers especially is that they're more so victims, and the child's father was a deadbeat dad who didn't want to stick around to help them take care of the child. But this community is interesting to me because it sort of does away with the whole sort of victim narrative when it comes to single mothers, and they're actually deliberately becoming single mothers with really no chance to have a legal father in the picture to help with any of this stuff. Let's look at another post. I am so lonely. My beautiful, perfect rainbow baby, who I struggled for almost 10 years to get, was born in May. Yay. He's now 4.5 months, and the isolation and overwhelm is like nothing I've ever felt before. I have been doing my research, so I know, partnered or not, most new moms struggle with the isolation. But I don't know any unpartnered moms, so I'm asking for support from this group. I don't have a lot of help. My family is in another province, and my friends here all have busy lives of their own. I'm on maternity leave until he's 1, and I've started attending baby and me classes to help me make friends with similarly aged children, and ideally older moms too, as I'm now 39. But between the round-the-clock feeds and trying to feed myself, the contact napping, and the never-ending work of an infant, I'm overwhelmed and exhausted and just so lonely. Kind of crazy to me because a lot of posts on here are women kind of weighing the option and deciding if they want to do this. I haven't seen any posts from people who've done this that have, a 16-year-old right now after they've decided to do this intentionally. The community was created in 2015, so it hasn't been that long. But I can tell you, I've had a lot of moms sitting across the table from me and just, crying and really, really upset because they're a mom now and it's just so hard. It's so hard. They don't have any help. And, that's usually why they are at the child support agency and hoping we can help them get some child support to help out with this situation. But even with the money, if it's you with the 100% custody, that's super freaking hard to raise a baby all on your own. And even people I know that are mom and dad households, it's crazy to see how exhausted they are. And that's a 2-parent household. So to see people kind of doing this intentionally is pretty wild to me. Let's look at another post. The question of the post was, did anybody else kind of find their way here to be a single mother by choice because of their experience in dating? And this woman had this to say. I think there are a few factors at play here. First off, men today it's as if they don't know how to be interesting, how to make women interested in them, make women want to spend time with them. I think it's because for many years, hundreds of years, men have just been able to point at a woman, tell her father that I want to marry her, and her father gave her away like she was an object. Women didn't have any choice previously. With feminism and independence, men have become clueless. I also suspect this is just a feeling, not something I can prove, that since there have been no selection process of men, since almost all men have had the ability to pass on their genes, there have been no selection process to ensure the bad genes aren't passed on. In nature, males have to prove that they are good genetic material to pass on. This is how it should be among us humans as well. I'm glad to see this is changing. More and more women are opting to become single mothers by choice, or SMBCs for short. It is also becoming more and more normal, even for younger women. This is a good process. This means the patriarchal culture isn't passed on as much through fathers. I don't think the partnered family will die out soon, but I do think more and more women are realizing that a man is not necessary. I realized while I was vacuuming my post-divorce house this weekend after rebuilding a toilet in my house and tightening up a sink, that men really lack a healthy amount of fear when it comes to cis-hetero women. We figured out we don't actually need them for their quote-unquote traditional roles, and they haven't worked, like women have, to find spaces outside of those traditional roles. They're lost. This, of course, doesn't apply to all men, but as at least half of the women I know have gotten divorced in their early 30s, I'm seeing a pattern. This is pretty mind-boggling to me, to be honest. I mean, I just don't know why someone would want to do this by choice. It seems almost cruel, in my opinion, personally. It's one thing for a child to be born into a situation where one or the other parent isn't there. You know, maybe mom died in a tragic boating accident, or the dad said he was going to get cigarettes and never came back, and that's a sad situation. But to put your child in a situation to where they actually don't have the other parent and they'll never have that relationship with them seems like a really bad idea. Most of these women are basically getting sperm from sperm banks, or some of them talk about like Facebook groups for donors and things like that. But it's a really big deal for them to get it in a way to where the father has no legal rights over the child. So it's not just like a one night stand. They're doing this through legal means. And they do the IVF process. They spend a lot of money. Some of them are older and they freeze their eggs and all that. Seems like a lot of them are older. And to me, it's just very strange. I know there are some men that have opted for this route and hiring like a surrogate in, you know, some other country where they pay the woman, like, I don't know, in Brazil or something, and they get the baby born. And then, you know, I guess they bring the baby back here and then there's no mom and they have 100% custody and then they take care of their kid that way. A lot of the stories I've read on here are from women that, you know, seem to have grown up in a house that might have been broken, or they saw their parents get divorced, or their mom was a single mom, or they were in relationships that didn't work out, or whatever happened. And they just ended up in this position where they're getting older and they really want a baby, but they can't find the man that they want to marry them or get in a relationship or walk this road with them. So they're resorting to this. And to me, it's really interesting. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this as time goes on. This is relatively new, I think, you know, especially with technology and all that stuff, like being able to do IVF. It seems like something only a woman who can afford this probably is going to do. But who knows, maybe in 10 years, 15 years, the narrative of what women are asking for, you know, they might be asking for taxpayer funded IVF treatments or something like that. And this presents a whole nother problem because, you know, I was a child support officer for 5 years, and 60% of our caseload, the entire child support program, is literally created as a response to the welfare program. So because there's so many children on welfare in single parent homes, child support's job is to try to recoup some of that welfare money, ideally, you know, from the parent that's not in the house, typically dad, sometimes mom, and reimburse the, you know, the tax dollars. But in this case, if mom embarks on this journey, doesn't work out, she ends up on the public welfare system. Who does the child support agency go after if it was a illegal sperm donation? So that's a whole nother thing. And I think the whole thing is interesting in the context of dating also, and marriage. Marriage is not doing well. You know, there's many different people from both sides that are trying to give suggestions on how to fix this. The folks on the left or, progressive liberal types are probably going to be way more partial to something like this. And the tradcons or the conservatives are way more about, the nuclear family and all this. And this to me is just such an interesting new phenomenon because I kind of wonder what conservatives would think about this. I mean, they're usually so focused on stopping abortion and these kinds of things, but this is like the most non-traditional thing I've ever seen. Hey, and they're doing everything legally. I mean, this is their right to do it. I wonder what they think about that. Another thing that's kind of interesting to me, I can't help but feel a kind of cringe feeling when I read these stories. It seems super weird. I can't help but think of like the neckbeard meme. Oh, I don't know if you guys remember the neckbeard meme, but it'd be like the guy with the sword and the fedora. And I just feel like there's like a similar level of cringe with this whole thing. It's like you've just talked yourself into this place to like where it's all like the solution is to just have this baby and have it only have one parent. And it just seems really weird and out of touch. I just can't help but think there's some sort of narcissism at play here. I'd hate to call them that. I'd hate to be intolerant to these folks over here, but it just does not seem right. It seems really cruel to me that the child will be born and only have one parent, and it was because that's how the mom wanted it to be. But anyways, that's their right to do, at least as far as our current legal system is concerned. And this is just yet another option for women, who don't want to get married to a man, or they just can't get the guy they want to marry them. And, now they can maybe pick and choose from the sperm donor, and now you got your baby and you can instill whatever values in the baby. I just, maybe I'm just so stuck in my ways, but I just can't help but think that baby's going to grow up someday and be like, Mommy, where's daddy? And have this, they're going to go to school, and then her friend, his friend's going to get picked up by the dad, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. They're going to learn about this concept of the dad, and the dad's not going to be in this kid's life. It's really, really weird to me. Anyways, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Are you someone who would embark on the single mother by choice journey, or single father by choice? Does this sound like a good idea to you? Hey, for all I know, there might be some kind of clever businessman out there that can come up with some kind of product to sell these people. Maybe in 20, 30 years, you'll be a millionaire because so many people decide to do this. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one. Also, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Tyrus. He just got out of surgery and just wanted to make this video for you, man. So you got something awesome to watch here while you're getting better. So we'll see y'all on the next one.